Hey, what's up guys? John here. We are witnessing the consolidation of the U.S. banking industry, and a lot of people don't realize what this next step will actually look like. It's going to change everything you know about payments. It's going to change everything you know about money. It's going to change everything you know about banking, and it's happening before our very eyes. They've been warning us about this for quite some time, dropping one article after the next, letting us know bank consolidations are happening.
We're going to see a consolidation of all these tiny little banks into super regionals. Maybe we get down to a couple of hundred banks in America.
But if you look at what the CEOs of these banks are telling us happens next, it's shocking. I'm going to break it down for you clearly in this video so you can make smart, forward-thinking decisions about your future based on what's actually happening. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube is going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And if you want to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, you have a problem on your credit report, don't let it sit there, because it can stay there for 7 years, upwards of 7 years. One late payment can drop your credit score upwards of 180 points. You can have an 800 credit score, have one little problem, and before you know it, you're in the mid-600s, high 600s. It's not worth it. If you want to invest, you're going to need great credit. If you want to take advantage of this great wealth transfer, you're going to need great credit. So we'd love to help you get great credit at GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link below this video to schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So this came out July 7th. There's only one way forward for small banks. Now, consolidation. This came out July 5th. Lots of banks means lots of bank mergers. This came out on May 19th. Janet Yellen told bank CEOs more mergers may be necessary. This also came out June 23rd. Again, Janet Yellen sees major bank earnings pressure. Mergers after March crisis, right? Why America will soon see a wave of bank mergers, April 20th, right? So we're starting to see this trend. Well, here's how this is all going to play out. So this came out, The Sun, that Bank of America exec insists customers will find new locations after 1,144 U.S. bank branches abruptly close. And so what are they going to do? So they are going to develop digital services in order to compete with businesses like Chime, Robinhood, and Quantic Bank. Well, here's a really good example of what these digital services, I believe, are going to start to look like. It's really eerie. So you've seen this Amazon One, where people can go pay for things with their palm. They just wave it over the scanner and then they pay. Either will get approved or denied.
And now it's time to pay. Well, because we're in Silicon Valley, I am not going to pay with my credit card. I am going to pay with my palm. The thing is, there's this new technology that lets you connect your credit card and your ID to your palm. This is my total. This is my palm. This is me scanning it.
So for example, you go into Whole Foods, let's say you want to buy sparkling water. You go into Whole Foods, pick up a sparkling water, you go to the checkout, you don't have your credit card, it's fine, you just use your palm. Now, I was talking to a lady that works at Whole Foods yesterday, the day before, and asked her, do people actually use this? And she said, well, when it first came out, no. But now it's 3 or 4 people out of 100. I'm like, that is a huge number. Almost 4% of people are using this. She said, yeah, it's more every single day. That's what I think is going to happen. A lot of people say, no, I'm not going to do this. I won't do this. But every single day, more and more people, they like their comfort. Like look, for example, when you open your iPhone, use your fingerprint, right? When you need to log into Gmail or log into your online email account, many people use their fingerprint to do so. It's the same exact thing. Look at credit cards. Credit cards, you used to swipe your credit card like this. Now, many people just take it and just tap the little chip and pay. And so it's all about convenience. And this is what I think is ultimately going to happen. Amazon One, there's going to be more and more companies that are going to start doing this. But I wonder, could Amazon One, hypothetically, open up new terms of service and sell that information, sell that biometric information to Visa, to American Express, to MasterCard, to all these different companies, and basically own that biometric data? It's a really big concern that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to. But if you look at what banks are doing, they're closing up their brick and mortar locations to focus on online digital transactions. Right at the same time, you're witnessing FedNow and the discussion of central bank digital currencies and all of these new trends that are unfolding. This is what I think, unfortunately, is likely going to happen. Look at this. So, closing time. Major bank with 2,600 locations closes 29 branches due to evolving customer needs. See if your state is affected. A huge national bank has continued to downsize its operations, closing another nearly 30 locations on Saturday in one day, right? So PNC Bank officially shuttering 29 locations on August 19th, 18th, as part of a larger cost-saving effort. The closures come after the bank already closed 47 locations in June, and the bank intends on closing a total of 147 locations as it focuses on online banking. Now, many people don't realize this. When we switch to this online banking type of environment, a lot of people go into their bank, maybe it's PNC or maybe it's another regional bank, and they've went there for 20 years. They know everyone in the bank, and when they need to get a loan, they need to get financing, that relationship means something. When it's all online, consumers will either check the boxes and get financing or they don't. So that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be heavily dependent on credit score, on cash. In your bank, it's going to be heavily dependent on your past history. It's going to be dependent on all these things. If it doesn't look great when they check these boxes, people are just going to get denied. And that's what I think is ultimately going to happen here. So as part of this effort, 60% of PNC's banking businesses will become exclusively online. The change reflects an evolving customer base with different needs, a spokesperson told the U.S. Sun. Well, what they're actually saying here is that banks are suffering financially. And they're suffering because a couple reasons. One, a lot of their loans are now not performing as well. Auto repossessions are up, auto delinquencies are up, credit card defaults are up, commercial real estate is in very, very big trouble, and they've issued tons of loans on these buildings. Now they're underwater on these loans. And deposits are getting pulled out. They're getting pulled out. The consumers don't have money, so they're spending more and more and more money to make ends meet. It's not good for a bank. They have less money to invest, and they have more and more defaults. So what are they going to do? They're going to cut costs by reducing their brick and mortar and reducing staff, right? They're going to start outsourcing talent using AI, technology, and sending job opportunities to call centers in India, Pakistan, and different locations. It's crazy how fast this world's changing. We have grown our PNC Bank branch footprint over the past 5 years by building out new branches through acquisitions while total industry branches have declined, right? Many Bank of America branches will now permanently close, right? That came out last week. So, I mean, look, like in LA, it's basically all California. They're just closing tons of branches. It's a real shame here, what's happening here. But, I mean, you start to see this. The death of the bank branch, Wells Fargo, closes 37 stores in 16 states, and more firms axe their brick and mortar locations. Is your local branch affected? Well, what do you think about this? Do you think we're going to see more and more bank branches fold? I think so. In fact, what I think is likely going to happen here is I think Jerome Powell is going to keep interest rates much higher for much longer, bleeding out consumers, bleeding out all these loans. I mean, it's going to push many commercial real estate loans into significant default, in which banks are just going to have to either take this bad debt and reposition it, sell it to large corporations, sell it to private equity firms, institutional investors, put it on the open market for sale, but they're going to have to take massive losses. And so what I think is going to happen is I think that if we look at 2-3 years down the road, we see 5-10 large banks that basically control the entire banking sector. Everyone's going to be banking with these 5 or 10 banks, and it's going to be a game changer, because if you think about the regulation that they could potentially implement with 5 or 10 banks, it's a hell of a lot easier to do it than trying to do it across 4,000 banks, which we currently have roughly in America. So it's a really big blow to the U.S. banking system and a major blow to the everyday American. What do you think about this situation? Do you think that we're going to start to see more and more technologies like this Amazon One? Like this technology, when I saw this on TikTok, I'm like, wow, that is crazy how fast the world's changing. People talked about this. Oh yeah, this is going to come down the road. A lot of people look at this and say, sure, maybe one day, 10, 20 years. No, it's here, right? If you look at how fast the world's changed the last 3 years, it's been unbelievable. And what I believe is going to happen is the next year, 2 years, 3 years, it's going to ramp up 100x. Like things are going to really get out of control. So I would brace for change. I think massive changes come to the banking sector. I think massive changes come to the economy, and massive change come to the consumer. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're going to start to see a lot of banking done exclusively online, and people are just going to either check the boxes? Do they have the cash? Do they have the credit? Do they have the employment history? Do they hit the boxes? Can they get financing? If the answer is no, that's what's ultimately going to happen. I mean, look at bank lending as a whole. They would normally lend between a 5-month period $150 to $200 billion nationally. They've only lent $30 billion last 5 months since Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. So they're lending less. They're lending less. And the only people that are going to get those loans are the high caliber people that have great credit, that are really, really well capitalized. Because they're going to want to reduce risk. They're losing money hand over fist. What do you think about it? Drop below, hit the like button, add me on IG. And if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to give you a free strategy session at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. There's a link below this video. Click it, schedule a free strategy session. If you have a late payment, medical bill, charge-off, foreclosure, bankruptcy, if you have a problem on that report, get a hold of us. Get a hold of us. One situation can cost you 7 years of problems with getting financing, getting approved for apartment, buying a car. I mean, we're in the greatest wealth transfer of all time. Don't let one problem wreck that potential that you have with investing in this distressed type of environment we're going to be walking into. GreatCreditFast.com. Add me on IG. Catch you guys in the next video.